From the pyramids to the Sphinx, ancient Egypt is renowned for its incredible architectural feats. But did you know that the Egyptians were also responsible for a number of inventions that have had a lasting impact on the world? In this video, we'll take a look at 5 of these inventions and how they continue to amaze scientists today. From medical tools to engineering techniques, the Egyptians were clearly ahead of their time. So sit back, relax, and enjoy as we explore the inventions that still surprise scientists today. First, let's see an interesting fact about ancient Egypt. Do you know that the ancient Egyptians were scientists and mathematicians? The ancient Egyptians invented methods for measuring time and distance. They used their scientific and mathematical understanding to build grandiose structures. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today we are talking about amazing inventions from ancient Egypt. What do you think these inventions are? And how much do they affect today's world? To answer these questions, let's jump into the video. Many of the tenets of ancient Egypt's culture are still in use today because of how prosperous they were for thousands of years and how they may have brought about the most sophisticated civilization the world has ever known. For instance, Egyptian men competed in boxing, fencing, and wrestling. Ladies wore elaborate jewelry and wigs, and kids engaged in board games, doll play, and other activities. They were also prolific inventors, and as you'll see in this list of 5 incredible Egyptian inventions, they made innovations that had such a profound impact on everything from agriculture to fashion that their influence can still be felt today. The first invention which we are going to talk about is eye makeup. Even though the invention of eye makeup may not be as significant as the invention of fire or the wheel, it nevertheless gives the Egyptians a run for their money. Eye makeup has never gone out of vogue since it was created in 4000 BC. Even more astounding, certain aesthetically oriented societies continue to use the same methods used by the Egyptians thousands of years ago to produce cosmetics. They created the black ointment known as kohl, which is still widely used today by combining soot with a mineral known as galena. By tinting the ointment with a mineral called malachite and galena, they could also manufacture green eye makeup. The use of cosmetics was not just for ladies among the Egyptians. Status and looks were closely related, and the more cosmetics the upper class wore, the better. The Egyptians were known for applying eyeliner with a famously heavy hand, but fashion was only one factor. A thick coating of the substance, according to their beliefs, could treat a number of eye conditions and even protect them from the evil eye. Egyptians developed everything from a rogue made of colored clay to nail polish made from henna, but eye makeup gave them a particular style that eventually came to define our kohl-outlined picture of them. They also developed deodorant using ingredients like incense and oatmeal, as well as scents made from various plants and flowers. Next, we will talk about written language. Drawings have long been used to convey stories. In fact, cave paintings from 30,000 BCE have been discovered in Spain and France. However, it would take thousands of years for the earliest writing systems to emerge from Egypt and Mesopotamia, when pictures and paintings would eventually develop into the first written language. The earliest pictograms used in the Egyptian writing system date back to 6000 BCE. Pictograms were straightforward representations of the words they stood for, but they had certain drawbacks. With the addition of other components throughout time, the Egyptians were able to write out names and abstract concepts, including alphabet-like letters that stood for certain sounds and other characters. The hieroglyphics, which were widely used in Egyptian tombs and other locations, were a combination of alphabetic, syllabic, and ideogram images that stood for complete words, or what most people now associate the Egyptians with. The text contains stories about conflict, politics, and culture that help us comprehend ancient Egyptian civilization. Naturally, we owe the Rosetta Stone a debt of gratitude for helping us decipher the text. Its discovery brought to an end the 1500-year era during which Egyptian writing was shrouded in mystery, together with the effort of French researcher Jean-François Champollion to decipher the stone. The third invention we are going to talk about is the Papyrus Sheet. There is no denying that the Chinese revolutionized the world with the development of paper about 140 BCE, but many people are unaware that the Egyptians had created a superior alternative from the papyrus plant thousands of years before. Among other locations, the marshy regions surrounding the Nile are where this stiff, reed-like plant has grown and continues to flourish. Its hard, fibrous inside was perfect for producing sturdy writing sheets as well as mats, sandals, sails, and other everyday items used in ancient Egypt. After the sheets were created, they were frequently strung together to create scrolls, which were subsequently filled with everything from literary works to music to religious writings. The lengthy process of making papyrus was a closely guarded secret by the ancient Egyptians, allowing them to sell papyrus sheets across the area. The method was finally forgotten since it was never recorded until 1965 when Dr. Hassan Ragab discovered a way to produce papyrus sheets. The calendar is the next invention which we will talk about in this video. Without a calendar to remind us of our doctor's appointments and key meetings, many of us would be lost. But in ancient Egypt, a calendar could spell the difference between feast and famine. Ancient Egyptians had no method of predicting when the yearly flooding of the Nile would start without a calendar. A few thousand years before the Common Period, they began employing one because, without that information, their entire agricultural system would be in jeopardy. The Egyptians split their civil year into 3 primary seasons: inundation, growth, and harvest, because their civil calendar was so deeply entwined with agriculture. Every season featured 4 months that were each broken up into 30 days. When you add it all up, you get 360 days every year, which is a little less than a full year. The Egyptians extended an extra 5 days between the harvest and flood seasons to make up the deficit. These 5 epogemenal days were regarded as sacred occasions set aside to celebrate the god's offspring. The last invention of this video is the plow. Although historians are unsure of the exact origin of the plow, evidence shows that the Sumerians and Egyptians were among the first civilizations to utilize it in about 4000 BC. Initial plows, which were probably made from adapted hand tools, were so light and inefficient that they came to be known as scratch plows due to their inability to penetrate the earth deeply. Additionally, the plows were powered solely by manual labor. For instance, wall murals depict 4 men working together to move a plow through a field, hardly the best way to spend the day in the intense Egyptian heat. All of that changed around the year 2000 BCE when the Egyptians began mounting oxen to their plows. Early models were attached to the horns of a cattle, but they interfered with how well the animal could breathe. Later iterations were far more successful and included a system of straps. Ancient Egypt's use of the plow, along with the regular beat of the Nile River, revolutionized farming and made it simpler for Egyptians than it may have been for any other culture at the time. The plow undoubtedly made planting crops much simpler, but farming was still laborious. Farmers had to hunch over all day in the scorching heat while tilling the earth with short-handled hoes. In addition, the Egyptians harvested their crops using scythes and transported seeds in baskets. However, the pigs and sheep they employed to crush seed into the ground may have been the most inventive agricultural implements. This brings us to the end of our video. Don't be afraid of giving suggestions on future videos in the comments section below.